Welcome to Talking Horses here as we get set for the Friday card at Aqueduct. Greg Wolf, Anthony Stabile, good to be with you.
Different look here today.
Yeah.
We're echoing through the equestrian.
I love it.
You know, I've probably told you this is the biggest restaurant in New York City. You know that?
Yeah, I have heard that.
True story.
This is the first time I've heard myself on these microphones.
It's a little daunting in here right now.
Hello.
Yeah, right. I feel like we're on Titanic. Can anyone hear me? Is there anyone alive out there?
I'm excited about this card today. Tomorrow's card, tremendous.
Tomorrow's card's fantastic. This is a good card. Tomorrow's card's fantastic. We'll be here all 3 days, by the way. Maggie bailed on me. No Magony. It's as Johnny I was going to call us Wolf and the Wolfman today, but the beard, I don't think he thought the beard was long enough. The hair is certainly long enough. The beard is not long enough.
Yeah.
The hair is just going wild at this one.
Grow it out over the season.
I could, yeah. I mean, the holiday break's coming up, sure.
All right, let's go through the promos, and we'll get into today's action. Let's start with the most obvious one. If you want to play these races today, do it with Naira Bets. $200 deposit match sign-up bonus. Promo code to use for new members, match200. Go to nairabets.com and punch it in, get that bonus. I always love when you forget, maybe it's the end of a week or there was a promo or something happened. I played that trifecta bonus, and there's extra. You look in your account for the first time for the new week when you're playing again, and there's more money in there than you thought.
It's the best.
It's a great feeling.
Oh, my God. How about, you ever play, I'll play numbers sometimes in the middle of the night, some Australia. I'll play birthdays and stuff. If I wake up, go back to fall asleep before the race comes on, and have an extra $90 in your account when you wake up. It's fantastic.
It's a good thing. Middle pick 4 starts in race 3 today. That'll be non-winners at 2 lifetime claiming sprint, 6.5 furlongs, which we'll get to. So don't forget about that middle pick 4. And 10% trifecta bonus on all winning tickets Fridays at Aqueduct. And that's
all day
on
long.
Every race.
Yep. It's all day long. And it's money. Just remember to opt in to all of our great promotions.
Yeah,
you can go on right now and opt into all of the weekend promotions. Head over to nairabets.com for more.
And our Fox coverage today kicks off FS2, 2:30 Eastern start time.
Yep.
What do we have?
I'm here till about 4:30. Then Maggie comes into Mariano Rivera comes in for the save, the 6 out save. We have Aqueduct, and we have opening day at Oaklawn.
Opening day in Hot Springs, yeah. Paula Duke, I believe, live on-site coverage.
Paulie Dukes is down there. That's great. Love to see it. Paul's probably happy about the Brandon Nimmo and the David Robertson sightings last night. LGM, let's go Mets. So, yeah, looking forward to doing a little Fox with you today. Our last one of the year together, me and you.
This weekend.
I'm not here tomorrow and Saturday. I'm not. No Fox Saturday, Sunday.
So this is it for you.
This is just for me and you today.
Okay, we'll go out strong. Promise
Absolutely.
You that. Let's get into this card. Here we go. The first race, 6 furlongs. It is a straight maiden group. Interesting race in here with these first 5 runners improper off the bench, going to cut back in distance. You have Captain Quick, who I'll get to in a minute, and then you have a filly on the outside who shows up against the boys here in Kitten's Appeal.
And we both picked the filly. I'm going to tell you a funny thing about this.
I actually did not.
Oh, okay.
Sorry, these picks are incorrect for me.
They double dipped on my picks, I think, is what happened here.
I may have not sent them incorrect. 4165 for me, everyone. Sorry.
All right, so it's 4165 for Greg. I'll tell you what. Tell you a funny story about this. I lost my past performances for today. Thankfully, when I handicap, I put some notes down, and I lost my past performances, and I have new past performances now.
Okay. And?
That was it. Because they're blank. I normally don't have. Normally these things. Normally these. No, I do. They're all on this sick head of mine. But I have the morning line. That's where I was going with this. I have the morning line on these PPs. And I was a little surprised. I know she's a filly. I get the whole thing. But she has figs, her last 2 figs, namely her last fig, that I think in a race that featured Funny How, who's come back to win, and I think Funny How has a little bit of there's some blue sky for Funny How.
Won 3 in a row.
Yeah, exactly. Kind of beat the track the last time she won. Nope. Those are the other way around, guys. Greg is 4165. I am 6415. I don't know what is going on.
It might have been my mistake. But, yeah, let's swap those. I'm Anthony's picks. I'm 4165.
Flip-flop those, please.
Anyway, back to Kitten's Appeal.
Yeah, she's outside. If anybody else is going to try to go to the lead in here, I feel like between Kendrick and her races, she's the fastest horse in here early. And I would hope that she just goes to the top in here. I really don't care that she's a filly running against the Colts because I'm not overly impressed with any of these Colts at 6 furlongs. And I feel like they're kind of playing her game, namely the horse you put on top, who's the horse to beat and proper. But I just feel like his races with a little bit more ground, namely that one fast track race 2 starts back, I just think he needs a little bit more ground.
I'd love to hear from Bruce Levine and why he chose this spot for her. It's an interesting spot. It is a productive race. You talked about Funny How. Yes, she's won 3 in a row. Or last, she actually won with an 85 buyer. So she's continued to move forward. Arrogant Lady came back and won a Delaware for Clement with an improved buyer with a 72. She was fractious in the gate that last. The thing I really liked about that race, she's fractious in the gate. She broke dead last and then was rushed up and was right in front. If she could break clean, that's a big if, because almost every single time she has a problem out of the gate.
Yeah.
So it's an issue for her. I guess the fact that she's drawn outside is a good thing for her today if those problems happen. She's still quick, though, and I'm with you. She probably gets the lead. For me, I thought she had to move forward figure-wise to contend with both the 1 and the 4 in this spot. Improper, obviously, has faced really tough company. From Another Mother was 1 to 5 when they met, who had been close second, actually, to Mo Donegal in a maiden special weight. Electability, who won his next, was 3rd in the Peter Pan and then was 2nd in the Pegasus for Chad Brown. He's just faced big horses. I think cutting back off the bench is going to find that this field is a lot easier to his liking. But I was torn between him and Captain Quick because I actually think there's a lot to like about Captain Quick. You say, oh, this horse is 0 for 9. He's actually 0 for 1. He's only 0 for 1 sprinting on the dirt, and that 0 for 1, he ran very good in that dirt race. And actually, I look a lot at thoroughgraphs. Figure-wise, he has the best figure of anybody in this field, and it was that dirt sprint. Okay. I think he potentially is going to be very tough in here. But
yeah, he has a chance to be tough in
take a look at what the odds, disparity is between the 1 and the 4. They're going to be probably pretty close.
Right now, the number 5, early, obviously, Norgay, first time David Jacobson from Ian Wilkes. This is a private purchase, obviously. He's your 8-5 favorite right now.
That will change.
That'll change.
Yeah. Another horse, if you're playing this Big 5, Norgay is one you're going to throw in?
No, he was the 4th one. I'll be honest with you, I'm using 4s and 6s. I'll try and get by with the favorite and the filly.
Okay. That's the first. Race 2, pick 4 starts in this race. 1 turn mile, $10,000 claiming race. We both agree, Melting Snow. She is the one to beat. We're going to show you her last effort. Here it is.
I tried, man.
Legitimate bump here out of the gate. I think she's going to be on the lead in this race here, stretching out. Jose Lizcano, I always talk about how great he is on the grass. He is very aware of pace and when he can be aggressive and forward and get an edge on a field and dirt racing too. And I think that's going to be what he does here with Melting Snow. We'll see. But even if she's not on the lead, she's tough. I actually thought her best race, one of the best races she ever ran, was at a mile, even though she rarely does it. Second, actually the first time I should say she ran a mile was way back at Oaklawn. It was a long time ago. She got a 67 buyer, though. She was 2nd in that race. She battled with a horse who was up front near the lead, did all the dirty work in that race, and still finished strong.
I mean, look, she had a voided claim for 32 back in September. She dropped in for 16 last time. Linda claims her and drops her in for 10. Obviously, there's issues here. But hasn't she just found the right bunch of horses? And I don't disagree with you. Coming out of the sprints, she's supposed to be able to control in here, and I'm not saying that's going to be enough, but it's a huge edge on horses. If you look at recent form in here, Sweet Blindness, do you really want to bet her off her last race? I don't want to bet her off her last race. I don't want to bet Lenny Cato off her last 3 races. I don't want to bet Tilsa off her last 3 races. That Is Key is the only other horse. I put That Is Key second, but you got to ask horses at this level to go back to back. She's been gone almost 2 months now off the very, very easy win. Who did she beat? She beat Kerrick. You want to bet Kerrick off her last 2 races? So I reluctantly, that's why I said I tried. Mm-hmm. I could not make a good enough case for That Is Key, so I wound up with the favorite.
Absolutely goes through her. This race, Melting Snow, is without question the one to beat. She's probably going to be one that it's tough to lean on. I don't love singling horses, leaning on horses in cheap races. I like to do it with classier horses generally, but she looks awfully tough in this spot.
She does. Yeah, she did. I was going to mess around with Flashing Red a little bit, but she came out. So race lost a little of its appeal to me.
Ready for race 3?
I am. This is where the middle pick 4 starts.
It does. Keep that in mind. Have you played that middle pick?
I have.
Middle pick 4.
Yeah, that's what I said, right?
Maybe.
Yeah, middle pick 4. Yeah, I've played it. I enjoy it.
Okay.
I play it. Listen, they can't have enough pick 4s for me. I remember when Presque Isle Downs had a rolling pick 4. It's like, that's when I die, I'm going to go to a place that has rolling pick 4s. They have rolling pick 4s wherever I go.
Well, this one.
I don't know where I'm going, but wherever I go, they'll have rolling. If I have my choice, they have rolling pick 4s. I hope.
If not, you can establish it.
Hope dies last, Greg. I will. Oh, right. I mean, I'm going to take over. If I go to the other place, I'm going to take over.
Oh,
so
yeah.
yeah, it's not a big deal.
6.5 furlong sprint here for 25,000 non-winners at 2 life in this spot. I'll let you start with riding on a winner.
Yeah, this was probably the race I had the toughest time with because there's not a lot of real positive form to go off of. I am a fan. He prefers Jason. It's Jason Wyas. And I'm a fan of this kid. And he'll be riding number 5, riding on a winner. This is first time back in the Orlando Nota barn. This filly started her career, ran the first 3 times after getting claimed from Tom Morley, ran 3 times for Nota, spent some time at Finger Lakes, now back down here for the winter with Finger Lakes being closed. She's gotten a little bit more consistent. I don't want to say she's gotten good, but she's gotten a little bit more consistent. And when you get to these condition claiming ranks, you want a little consistency. And the rest of the field just does not bring you consistency. The 2 horses that have been consistent in here, the 5 riding on a winner and My Delicious, the number 6, are the horses that I put 1-2. That's how I handicap these races. I believe riding on a winner will be a little bit more aggressive. Bunty Windermere.
You don't have anywhere. Wow.
I don't like Bunty Windermere. I think Bunty Windermere has kind of proven that she is a little bit better on the grass. I think 2 of her 3 grass races recently are better. I think 1 of her grass races back in May is better. I'm not sold she's a dirt horse. She's going to be on the front end in here, and I would imagine that Jason Wyas and riding on a winner are not going to be too far off of her. And that's what I kind of wanted in here. If I don't like, and again, when I got a hold of the morning line and I saw that Bunty Windermere was the actual favorite in this race, I was excited because I thought the race was 5 and 6. I want riding on a winner sitting the trip off of the speed. And I want My Delicious, who I know her figures are a little lacking, but she does show some consistency. She's hit the board 5 of her last 6 starts. The lone blemish was the turf race. I mean, you look at her dirt form, she rarely misses a check. So I wanted the 2 horses that kind of had a little form, the 5 and the 6.
For me, like riding on a winner, to your point, yeah, I like that race from her last time out. She did have a little trouble where she got forced in a little bit out of the gate, and she did run on pretty good. The horse that beat her actually was dropping out of an open 25 at Aqueduct, Belarus. Races like this, these lower-level claiming races, I feel like if you can get in front, establish a clear lead, there's obviously not a lot of talent behind you. Look at these records from some of these horses. 1 for 14 with the 2. 1 for 17 with My Delicious, so you have second in here. These are horses that can maybe, if Bunty Windermere gets loose, which she should, she has speed against better, dropping down in class. I think she gets to the lead and can keep on going and can just break the spirit of this group who don't have a lot of desire, really, to run somebody down.
Yeah,
so
she could.
That's why I went with the 4. The 5 I'll put in second in the spot. And then Temperamental is the one I wanted to bring up in here. The 2. Let's take a look at this race here. Is the 1 horse, and it looks to me as just not happy early. She's kind of throwing her head around. It looks like she actually hits the rail coming out of the turn.
I think
something just goes awry.
Yeah, I think
but
she
it does
did.
look like she scraped some paint. But she was making a move.
Again,
she's actually adding blinkers too, and that's not in the form. She was the other one that was interesting to me.
So the blinkers are going back on Temperamental. She had them earlier in her career. She didn't do much running with them, but that's fine. I mean, if you're thinking there was some trouble last time, and I do agree, I think she kind of brushed the rail last time. I don't know how much it affected her performance. This I will say, Bunty Windermere, I think you could make an argument. I think Temperamental is clearly a better A, turf horse, and B, dirt horse with under favorable conditions, a little moisture in the track, off the turf races. I don't know if intended dirt races are for her. And I was a little surprised to see that she was the co-second choice at 3-1 in here. I wouldn't want to make a line for this race, but I think I wasn't. I put her fourth, but I don't know. I think she needs things to go the right way.
All right. Well, so I mean, that's, you know what we're doing, like how much that can knock out of you too. I mean, when you scrape the rail, not a good thing.
I don't think people think enough about like the traumatic part of the experience. Some horses like never recover from incidents like that. Now she's an old pro; she's run a bunch of times, but yeah.
Race 4 is going to kick off the pick 6. 6 furlongs, $20,000 maiden claiming race. Interesting race to start it off because of the 3 in this one for Wesley Ward coming off the bench, hasn't raced since April at Keeneland and dropping to the lowest level he's been at yet. We're going to show you this race. Actually, this was maiden 50 at Keeneland. We're going to just jump into the stretch here, but actually hopped out of the gate, which didn't help his chances either in this spot. But this is one of those rare Wesley horses, doesn't have a ton of speed, makes up a ton of ground to basically get to your eventual winner in here. I didn't love the fact that it's making this move, gets there, and then is just kind of content to stay with this horse and never finds any more. I did not like that.
No.
Maybe just not the will to finish the job.
You are hoping, if you pick this horse like you and I did today, I don't want to put words in your mouth. I'm hoping he just found his friends. I mean, there's nothing to really love about this horse. I mean, the figure last time is going to get the job done here. I mean, I would think, and you could say to me, how could you say that when North Pole runs bigger figures? North Pole is in all likelihood going to break his maiden one day. It will never. When I was at the New York Post, when we used to do the results and the charts, if somebody picked the winner, you would actually write it at the bottom of the chart. Winner picked by Stabile, winner picked by Cangelosi, winner picked by Vic C. The bottom of that chart, if I was at the New York Post, would have never said winner picked by Stabile when North Pole breaks his maiden. It won't happen. He is a horse that I will, and you are never supposed to go into a race saying, I'm not doing this. There are exceptions. Like Justin Bieber, I will never say never. So what you have, there's a second Bieber reference of the day with you, by the way.
You get one more.
I get one more. And there'll be one on Fox, I'm sure. This is just a horse I'm never going to pick. And
it's a horse that went for over $1 million at auction.
Yeah, it's just not happening. It's just not happening. When he's the horse to beat, and believe me, I don't care what price John's protege is. North Pole, based on figures, is clearly the horse to beat in this race. But at what point do you say, I've had enough? I mean, how many second place finishes does they have? Second and third place finishes? He's run 14 times. He's finished second or third, 10 of them, for 5 different barns at this point.
I don't know if he's clearly, well, that's up for debate. I mean, there's more upside with the 3. He got a better figure. And
if they each ran
beginning.
If they each ran their best fig, North Pole's going to beat them. But North Pole doesn't win. So I'm not picking North Pole. That's never happening. In fact, I think there's a chance to beat North Pole for second in here. I thought the Deuce, super quality for Rob Atras. The mile was a little too long for him. And then last time he got himself involved in a pretty quick pace. He was right on the top of a quick pace for this, especially for this level. And, it fell apart late. He was just a slight favorite. I wonder if you mentioned how John's protege doesn't have any speed, a rare Wesley Ward runner. North Pole is cutting back from the mile races. If I'm Kendrick, and we know Kendrick's not afraid to do this, I put this horse on the front end today.
Yeah.
And just try to bottom the field out. But again, he might be better. I think he's probably a better turf horse. But if we think John's protege found his friends, and you are right about the lower level horses getting brave on the front end, why can't he go wire to wire today?
Yeah, he's a danger. I will say that I probably should have thrown the 1 in there at some point. You have him 4th in here, Sean the Hammer. That race last time out, that was off a 6.5-month layoff. It was just the 3rd start of his career. Obviously, he's had some injury issues. His 2nd start in his dirt debut at Belmont. 2nd beat a neck, well clear of the 3rd place finisher. That race here puts him right in the mix.
They wavered a $20,000 maiden. So that's a positive sign. I mean, you want to try to keep the bankroll down. Like I said, this is a middle pick 4. The pick 6 starts here. But if your bankroll can afford it, these are the kind of races where you have 2 favorites that are as far from reliable as it gets.
Watching that John's protege make a move like he was going to roll right on by and just kind of sit there and be content to run in second gives me big pause with him. When are we going to pause? After this?
After the fifth.
Okay.
Yeah.
Race 5.
The crossroads race. This is one of the, to me, this is the most important race of the day. And the early pick 4, early pick 5, third leg of the middle pick 5, start the late pick 5, second leg of the pick 6.
1-turn mile, 16 claiming race, non-winners at 2 lifetime. We both go to Midnight Worker in here. I actually was so torn between the 9 and the 2. I love the 2 in the spot who comes out, unfortunately. So I'm solidly on the 9 now.
Same thing here. You see the 2
Really?
crossed off right there. Yeah, I wanted the 2. We could have been getting sucked into the 2, by the way, off that layoff, dropping down. That could have been. We could have had sucker written on our foreheads today. If Andy was here, he might have said this was a good scratch for us. It could have been a good scratch for us. I'm not.
I always
the jury's
choose
not
to
out.
believe that we would have been
Me
winners.
too. Of course. Well, I don't know, but I'm a Mets fan, so I have to think everything's going to be great.
All right. So what'd you like with the
I
9?
reluctantly scratch into a horse on top that's in all likelihood going to be the favorite. And maybe he was going to be the favorite, though. Well, Ria's Angel, I guess, is the morning line favorite. I don't know. I think this horse is going to take money. First time Rudy. I know the horse is coming from Todd, but it's not a claim. It's just a barn change. This is one that's not going to make the trip down to Florida. Rudy's going to put his own little handprints on this, put the blinkers on as he runs them for the same level Todd did last time. The problem with this horse is he did not do a ton of running last time. And he's a little stakes-faced from a 2-year-old. He came back this year, and he didn't do a stitch of running until that race last time out. And how much running did he really do? And now the blinkers go on, and it's Rudy. And, I mean, yeah, you scratch into him. But, again, this race lost a lot of appeal for me with the scratch.
I like the fact that at least he showed ability. I mean, anytime you win first time out in a straight maiden race at Saratoga, you have at least a little bit of ability. I know it wasn't the quickest race figure in the world, but at least he did that. They put him in the Nashua as a 2-year-old when he was 4th in that 6-horse field. He has a little bit of ability. And at least last time, he's paired up his last 2 figures as well, thoroughgraph-wise, which to me leads me to believe he's going to make a move forward and run the best figure of his career. I like the equipment change. I like the fact he's paired up. And to me, it's just there's some horses in here that just don't have – there's – to me, half the field you can write off in here.
You're being very nice, yeah. This is a
and at least the race he was in last time at this level was a competitive level race heat for
and
this
they went
level. The top
fast.
2 finishers both came back to win.
They went
he
fast.
He was 3rd behind him. So I think the 6 will be favored in here, Ria's Angel. But it looks like it's between those 2. I thought the 3 intriguing as well.
Yeah, I had a little spites for
extremely wide trip all the way around the racetrack last time out.
Going a mile and an eighth. It's a lot tougher to have that 4 or 5 wide. That was the comment, and it said turns, and they're not lying. This horse was wide throughout last time. Cuts back to the 1-turn mile, gets a rider change to Javier Castellano. This is a race where I would have been very confident with 2s and 9s. Where I have to spread. I got to go 4 deep now. I'll use 1, 3, 6, 9.
By the way, the 1A I did, that would have been my 4th choice in here. I know we had a scratch. Astro Weeks, that horse, you think a little phony off that Gulfstream mile race getting beat?
I like the 1. I like the solid 1 better than the 1A.
Okay.
Oh, there is Astro Weeks.
Oh, here we go.
We're
going to show it to you.
this.
So, yeah, this is a Gulfstream. This is going a mile. So on the lead throughout. 24-2 opening quarter, too. Has the lead late and then winds up getting nailed at the wire.
Yeah. This horse had everything go his own way last time and got cut down late in the game here.
There's not a ton of speed in the race.
No.
I will say that.
I mean, I would hope Dylan Davis is aggressive with the horse we put on top. Blinkers on, out of that 46 and change, chasing that 46 and change. That was a fast half last time. Try and be aggressive today.
Yeah, having said that, too, I mean, Gulfstream usually favors horses with speed and couldn't seal the deal there at a bottom level.
Right. Yeah.
Tough to endorse. We're going to pause?
Yep.
We'll pause. We'll be back. Late pick 4 right after this.
For almost 150 years, the Saratoga name has been synonymous with the finest quality, sustainably sourced spring water available anywhere. Saratoga carries on the rich tradition of its forefathers by crafting each stunning blue glass bottle with the same attention to detail and care that has been its hallmark for generations. Visit SaratogaSpringwater.com today or ask for us by name at your local market or restaurant. Saratoga Spring Water. Make every day exquisite.
All right, we're going to pick things back up. Race 6 starts the late pick 4, mile and an eighth, 40,000 claiming race. Non-winners to 2 lifetime in here, and there's going to be a lot of love for complete agenda in here for Todd Pletcher. He's got Kendrick Carmouche on board, Rapoli, St. Elias. Source, if you go back to his Saratoga this summer, I mean, he would be 1 to, or maybe not 1 to 5, but 3 to 5 at least in this. His figures just dominate this group. Then he goes to Churchill. Last time out, mile and a quarter. You could probably put a line through that race. That was against War Campaign. It was 3rd in the Bourbon Trail. Before that, he faced Open Road, who ran a 93 buyer for Brad Cox. He faced Warrior Johnny, Keep Me in Mind, who he was competitive against both those two. Those are really good horses.
Yeah,
that would be 1 to 9 in here.
They had high hopes for this horse. They were thinking maybe like this would be a Belmont Stakes type of horse. And when they got him out of South Florida, I loved him that day when he broke his maiden. And just assume that, okay, there was his jumping off point, and he beat a couple of older horses that day, and all right, it's time for him to take off. He has not taken off, unfortunately, for his connections. You can argue that even since the layoff, he's gone the wrong way. And he finds himself in for the 40. I would imagine the line to claim this horse.
I'd say he improved at Saratoga.
Yeah, and then he just fell apart. The 2 races in Saratoga were good, and since he's left Saratoga, he's fallen apart.
Yeah.
I would imagine the line to claim this horse is going to start somewhere near the casino entrance and end at the claim box. And I get that. I do. I just he has 0 speed. Now look, we picked him, but I'm picking him assuming that one of his last 2 races is still good enough to beat these horses. Because this is not the toughest 42 life you're ever going to find.
Yeah.
I wanted to pick Afghan. I tried so hard. But, I mean, the Laurel race, they went a mile and a 16th in 148 and 2.
He got a, other than the figures I look at, he got a pretty decent figure for that. And it wasn't the only time he's run that figure. He actually did it at Keeneland, too, when he broke his maiden. Or he didn't break his maiden. He ran 3rd, sorry, but in a maiden race at Keeneland, he matched a similar figure. I have that number stronger than what that buyer looks like.
If you have that number stronger, then you can make a little play it with him at 6 to 1 today. See, I just don't trust it. Why is he in for the tag?
Is that Laurel form? Yeah, is it going to translate?
Right, yeah,
it was at a mile and a 16th.
It
was not a mile and an eighth, and it was a diminishing margin too at a mile and a 16th.
Yeah, I mean, listen, there's a lot of holes there too.
Is there potential that this is the maiden breaker for Matty Olver on Curbstone?
You know, I wish I knew what Curbstone was going to show up. There's a version of Curbstone where if we had the racetrack from yesterday, would have been very, very difficult to beat in here. Because this horse's sloppy track race is so much better than anything else he's ever did. And I also wonder if the key to the sloppy track race was him showing speed that day. Now, I don't know if he can get to the lead in here. Spetro's pretty fast from the rail draw, and Dylan's been riding aggressively.
Yeah, I would think not.
You know, I would imagine that Dylan's going to put Spetro on the front end in here. Spetro, I thought about Spetro for a minute. I just don't know about the and his pedigree. Conga Bella is a Paula Silver Lining family, so that's all sprinting, obviously. But the Ghost Zapper on the top, I didn't know what to do with Spetro. I did not know what to do with Spetro.
There's a couple other interesting. If Complete Agenda, I think he's going to be good enough. I think he wins. But Uncle Waterflow has a race. Obviously, that 47-01 race. 2 back for Eddie Persaud, when he just missed by a neck. But he's coming back in 7 days in a race where it looked like they were trying to strike where the iron was hot, and he just did not fire at all.
Yeah.
And now he comes back 7 days later. Yeah. I don't like that.
For a horse that had 4 weeks, 5 weeks, and 6 weeks between his 3 prior starts, now he's coming back in 7 days.
And then Bourbon's Hope, the 5. I have him 3rd. I have him on here. I thought the race was at a mile and an eighth at Aqueduct for 16 non-winners to 2 last start. It's a big jump, but if it can repeat that move, perhaps move forward off that, first off the claim Linda Rice last start, at least he showed ability at this distance, and he could be in the ball game.
He should be forward. He should be laying second or third to Spetro.
Yeah, I mean he's got sprint. I wouldn't say all-out speed, although he did break his maiden sprinting on the front end. Jose Lascano says, let's go with this horse.
Listen, if you can get past Complete Agenda, If you think Completely Gentle is going to get beaten here, you can get a little creative. I couldn't, but you could.
All right, race 7, back to sprinting, 6 furlongs, first allowance condition in this spot. This race is loaded with a lot of storylines in this spot. Pharaoh's Heart has been such a disappointment. This horse has faced such good company. We saw him, I think it was on for the first 2 races when he came back at Oaklawn. Back in her off the layoff. She'd faced in the Grade 2 Santa Margarita as time goes by. She'd faced Crystal Ball, was second beat a length to her. She was so much the best, but she ran into a horse named Joyful Cadence, who turned out to be pretty good. A stakes winner, graded stakes placed. We just saw her second in the Dream Supreme. And Pharaoh's Heart actually went to her knees out of the gate in that race. I needed her to close my pick 5 that day. The next race, too, she comes back. She disappoints at Oaklawn. And then she does not show up, which is very concerning at Churchill June 2nd.
I wouldn't say she didn't show up at Churchill. I don't think she had a great trip at Churchill. Thought she had some slight trouble at the start. I thought when they turned for home, she was kind of on hold for way too long. It's kind of what happens when, her rider is kind of known for that every now and then. I like everything about the switch. Listen, Toby Sheets does an amazing job. Steve Asmussen, of course, that's Toby's his assistant here in the winter. But this horse goes to Michelle Nevin. Michelle's
probably went wrong because she went to the bench.
Yeah, she went to the bench. She has some layoffs on her card. She has a 10-month layoff on her card. She didn't debut until being a 3-year-old. It was soon after she turned 3, but she didn't debut until she didn't debut until she was 4. She didn't debut until she was 4. She has a 10-month layoff on her card. She had 2 months between the last 2 starts. She has another 5.5, almost 6 months between these starts. Obviously, there are some issues there. But she's also been in some pretty tough races. The Joyful Cadence race, like you mentioned. I don't know what happened last time. Obviously, it necessitated a 5+ month layoff. And, boy, you want to talk about finding the right spot to come back in. She cuts back to her favorite distance. She gets a fresh set of faces to face. And they're not the toughest set of faces she's ever going to face. I thought as the second or third choice, she was a little interesting today. I took her over Speaks for Itself.
So
I don't know what happened last time.
For Speaks for Itself.
I have no idea.
1-5. She was dominant. 88 buyer in her debut for Chad Brown-Klarovich. That was April 14th Aqueduct. And then comes back as a 1-5 favorite. Forward, she looks like she's in a winning position and then just just has nothing in the stretch. This barn has them ready to go off the bench, especially if they have talent. You don't see them back up like this.
There are so many issues with there's so many issues with the last race. Everything you just mentioned, there are just.
And this is not it. Who are we looking at here?
This is. Who is this? Wow. I don't remember who this is. That's to a T.
So this is the Speaks for Itself race.
That is yes. It was the second, third, and fourth place finishers. I'm sorry. I don't know why they were not in any event. I don't know. I will say this. The fact that she did not skip any other than. The fact that she's right back in the next one, I think, is a very good sign. I'm not going to say it's a good sign. I think it's a very good sign. That after missing all that time, she did not skip this A other than. There's not another A other than. I actually looked in the condition book. There's no A other than at the end of the month. So this is it until the new book, the new year. But the fact that she didn't skip this one, because that's inexplicable. I have no excuse for that effort last time. None. But the fact that she didn't skip this one, you know what I'm going to say now, right, Greg? I think it speaks for itself.
Should be a name of a show. I went to Lilu. I got to try and beat her off that effort. Like I said,
You're
barn,
really trying to beat her.
I didn't like that effort at all.
You're empty in the bullpen to beat her today.
Look, Chad Brown has them ready to roll off the layoff. She showed big ability first time out. She just weakened, and I wouldn't be surprised in the slightest if she wins. But yeah, I'm going to try and beat her. I think she wins or she runs up the track like she did last time. saying 4th or 5th in here. I like Lilu in this spot. That race she was in the Iroquois, that was a loaded group.
Loaded.
I know November Rain was a huge price, but Banksting is a super solid performer. She just ran 2nd in the stake again last weekend. Secret Love came back to win out of there. Betsy Blue was 4th, who we're going to see this weekend, who's an 8-time winner in that field.
Yeah, she finished 3rd in the Gulf for Juan. She's back tomorrow in the Gauntlet of Roses.
Yeah. That was a loaded spot, and I just think she went too fast in that spot. She went 45 and 2 to the half in there. She's got an opportunity again to I think her best races sit just off the pace, which we saw her do 2-back, which we saw her do 3-back, which we saw her do when she won her breaker maiden with at Aqueduct. Lady Milagro, big long shot, who I think has no chance in the race, probably going to be the one who's out in front in here.
Well, that's what I was going to say. There aren't too many faster horses on the grounds at Belmont Park. The first 3/8 of a mile than Lady Milagro. Yeah. She is stone cold fast out of the starting
So sit right
gate.
off her. Probably speaks for itself. Is going to be close to the pace as well. Her races are big, and she was going in the right direction. And I think that Iroquois is a lot better than it looks. I mean, that was tough company she was up against and just went potentially a little too fast there.
I'm curious to see how this tote board shakes out. I want to see how they bet this race. David has Chad's horse 5-2 on the morning line. I don't think
you'll get 4-1 on Farrell's Heart.
Oh, you see, I think the race will be bet differently. I think Speaks for Itself will be 8-5. I think they're gonna. I think people are going to say, it was off the layoff one. I know he runs well. I think because if you believe she could run her debut, she'll beat these horses and she'll beat them badly. If you think she could come back to the debut. Now, like you said, he's a guy that has these horses ready to roll first off the layoff. So that's the problem.
Her debut, to me, wins it. I don't think she beats them badly, though.
Okay.
I mean, she'd have to improve off that to beat them badly.
Okay.
But we'll see. To a T, the 3, did you have 4th, I have 3rd.
I'm just
cutting
sick of her
back.
act.
That was a good run against Violet Vixen.
I'm sick of her act. The barn's not going that well right now either. 1 for 20 at the meet, 1 for 20-something at the meet. She can win, obviously. I don't see, she just doesn't win, Greg. There's another one. She's kind of like North Pole. 10 second and third place finishes from 22 career starts with just 3 wins. All
right, let's go on to race 8. This is a good one coming up. Allowance optional claiming 7/8 of a mile in this spot. And Amundsen, 7-5, morning line favorite, coming in off back-to-back wins. Won first off the claim for Linda Rice last time out, November 12th at Aqueduct. Amundsen's very good. Is that who we're looking at?
Yeah. Here's my lean today. I got one little fuzzy to maybe use on a backup ticket, but this is a former stakes winner who is in form now. Linda, Rob Actress had him in a good spot 2-back when he got claimed. He was ready to roll. You thought last time if he was able to kind of repeat that effort, he not only repeated it, he kind of improved. It was the biggest fig of his life. And this is a horse that I think a few people, including myself, I kind of wrote him off. I thought he was done. But he finds these races when these horses, these old speed horses, it's almost like when the short stops and the center fielders. I kind of thought he lost his legs a little bit, like he just lost some of his speed. And the last 2 races did not show that he has lost a step. And like I said, 2 of the biggest figures of his career. He's in good form right now. When these old class horses get in good form, I will ride that wave. He's 4 for 6 here. 4 for 6 here at the Big A. He has to deal with 7 today.
Yeah, that's the concern. He's 0 for 3 at 7/8.
He has to deal with 7 furlongs today. And he hasn't done it in 2 years. He hasn't even tried it in 2 years. And his 6.5 furlong races, save the win 2 starts back, leave a lot to be desired. But again, he's going to get in front in here. I guess Fire Sword will put a little pressure on him.
Every win. So Fire Sword's 5 for 11. Every win, he's been on the lead.
He can't get in front of Amundsen, which is part of the reason I took his chances down, because I saw what you saw.
Well, I think Connection say we have to get the lead if we're Fire Sword. So
good luck. Good luck.
It's going to, at least, if nothing else, going to make him work a lot harder early than he wants to.
It will, honestly. and that's part of the reason I think you have to use Market Alert here. You have to use Market Alert here. Rob Actress has had success claiming off this barn and moving horses up. Mr. Phil in particular. He took Mr. Phil for a similar tag and kind of made a mistakes type. Mm-hmm. He's supposed to get an unbelievable trip in here. If you're right with Fire Sword, and I don't disagree with you, he's got to try and keep up with Amundsen early. He doesn't win if he's not in front. Problem is, Amundsen, you're not going to get in his way right now because he's in good form. You can almost say he's in career form. I know he hasn't won, as prolific a races as he used to win, but he's in good form right now. If you think they're going to hit,
Amundsen has sat off the lead and been plenty effective.
he has. And maybe he will. I wouldn't be getting in his way right now. But that's just me. And I don't think Kendrick's going to get in his way either. I don't think Linda Rice doesn't win as many races as she does by getting in horse's way. She's going to let this horse roll from the rip today.
Well, it may compromise both these two.
It might.
I saw upside with Fire Sword. That last race, I tossed from him going a mile when he lost his footing at the start there. Again, it's a horse who likes to be forward. And he's kind of like he's the 4-year-old Amundsen. I've loved Amundsen for a long time, but older 6-year-old in here. I'm taking this horse hoping that figure he ran 2 back. Right there with Amundsen at his best. And it looks like a horse who has room to move forward.
Yeah, he beats, I don't love the horses he beat that day. Cost basis kind of fell off
But
form.
he destroyed them.
He buried them. He did. Yeah, he did. We have to move
Yeah,
on.
it'll be interesting to see.
We only have 2 minutes left.
Okay, let's wrap it up. Race 9. 1-turn mile, New York bred, A other than. You like the 8. I like the 1. We both have them 1-2. What'd you like?
Yeah, you could have flipped a coin, I think, between the entry and 42 Ace. Again, a horse that's kind of rounding back into form. I just think 42 Ace has faced a little bit better. They're going to ask you to take Full Moon Fever coming back from Finger Lakes where he kind of found his form and got good. And the other part of the entry, simply, that race last time, he'll probably move forward cutting back off of that race. It was first time Rob Atras last time. But I think the entry will get a little overbet. So I went to 42 Ace, but like I said, I could flip a coin between the two.
I went Full Moon Fever. I love this horse. I think he's the most likely winner on the day. I think he's numbers-wise not even close against this group. Wouldn't surprise me if the 8 wins, but coming into this race, Finger Lakes for him. His numbers are just dominant. Slight stumble out of the gate last time out. His last 2 times actually on a fast track he's won. And he just couldn't run down a horse who went gate to wire with slow fractions on the front end last time out. And he was 6 wide in that race. A 6-time winner that he faced in Beta in that race. He was pretty good that he couldn't run down with a stumble out of the gate.
The 5 Dr. Marbuz as well as the 11 Royal Suspect are in this race as well. Here they're going to finish 1, 2, 3. Yeah, he makes sense. The entry makes sense. I don't know what else to really say about the entry. I'll give you the one horse that at a little bit of a price. I don't know what he is on the morning line.
Mason Mania?
Yeah, Mason Mania. Yeah. He's coming in from Penn National. He's never raced against State Breds. They had the right formula with him. Sit off the pace, make one run. For some reason, they put him on the lead last time. He can't make the lead in here. I think Jose will just sit a stalking trip from the outside. If you want to add a little bit of a price in there, I would use the 9, Mason Mania.
There it is. We get it in?
We did, yeah. Johnny I gets really mad if we don't get to him in time.
Good luck, everybody. That's the Friday card.
We gotta tell, where you have to go play it, right, Greg?
Naira Bets.
Yeah, right. Over to Naira Bets. American Revolution is telling you to come over to
Cigar
Naira
Mile winner
Bets
from last year. Match 200. That promo code for new members. Get that $200 deposit match sign-up bonus at Naira Bets. Play all the action today and beyond. Early pick 5 pool, 51,000 and growing. That middle pick 4. Get after it begins again in race number 3 this afternoon. And the 10% trifecta bonus.
That's all day long. Don't forget to opt in over at Naira Bets for all of our fantastic promotions this weekend. Tomorrow, I believe we have a Aqueduct Fairgrounds Oak Lawn promotion.
Okay.
That we will feature in the we'll feature on the website. I don't know if I haven't decided yet if we will be doing it in blog form or if I will just be doing full card selections for those 2 tracks tomorrow along with the Big A, so you can help get to that bonus.
All right, sounds good.
You'll have to go check it out later on or tomorrow.
And today's action, don't forget, we have full card from Aqueduct, most of the card from Aqueduct, beginning 2:30 Eastern Time, and opening day coverage. Hot Springs, Arkansas, from Oak Lawn Park. You don't want to miss it. Paulo Duca will be there live.
Late pick 4 from the Big A, and then we kick things off down in Hot Springs.
All right, sounds good. We'll see you at 2:30 FS2. I'm back on Talking Horses tomorrow, and I'll be on with Big 8 later today.
Yeah, we'll see you at 2:30. Johnny I's coming back with a reprise of those scratches and changes.
For almost 150 years, the Saratoga name has been synonymous with the finest quality, sustainably sourced spring water available anywhere. Saratoga carries on the rich tradition of its forefathers by crafting each stunning blue glass bottle with the same attention to detail and care that has been its hallmark for generations. Visit SaratogaSpringwater.com today or ask for us by name at your local market or restaurant. Saratoga Spring Water. Make every day exquisite.